Lesson 8.3, Law of Sines. Now, if you've done the trig, you've done sine, cosine, and tangent, we're going to do problems with a situation where we don't have those right triangles with opposite, adjacent, and hypotenuse. There might not be a hypotenuse available. So what can we do? So it starts out, consider a 30, 60, 90. See, these are still 90-degree or right triangles. Calculate the values of sine A. So here's A. What's the sine of 60, and then put it over the length of BC. So you're literally just plugging this into a calculator and seeing what you're getting. Sine C, find the sine of 30, and put it over AB. See what happens, and answer that next question as well. So exploring the sine ratio. Let's look at this. Notice it is not a right triangle. So it says, how can you use the sine ratio to relate the lengths of and angle measures? So I'm going to go through this with you step by step. So first, construct an altitude. Look at this altitude. Remember, the altitude is like the height. It creates a 90-degree. And it says the altitude intersects BC, and here's the point. So it's just creating this visual for you based on what we already know. And we already know about right triangles, so let's use that information. So it's saying these are right triangles, which we know for that. And it says find the sine of B and the sine of C. Well, based on what we just learned last week or last couple lessons, sine of B, if you take sine, it's opposite over hypotenuse. So sine of B, opposite over its hypotenuse. If I wanted the sine of C, that also would be opposite over hypotenuse, but the letters would change because I'm looking from a different angle. So sine of C would be opposite H over hypotenuse B. And if I go down here, that's exactly what this says. So the sine of B equals H over C, and the sine of C equals H over B. But if you solve each of these for H, see how they both have H in there? So get H by itself, multiply by C on both sides, you would get this. Multiply by B on both sides, you would get this. So you have two equations, both of which are equal to H. And remember that H is that height or altitude. Well, set them equal. If they both equal H, set them equal to each other. And basically what this finds out is if you have a sine of either one of those angles, the sine of B over B will equal the sine of C over C. This is part of the law of sines. And this is the explanation in which how it came to be. So if I find B, the sine of B over this B will be equal to the sine of C over this C. And we'll go over that more in a little bit. So it says for this sine of B, here's exactly what I just said, show that the sine of A is also involved. And honestly, when you do this, it's basically the same idea, but I can't get the sine of A because I have no altitude from a different point that helps me with A. So you would find the altitude from B. And you would do the same process and maybe count this as K or something, label the altitude right here and do the same thing we just did in the last example. It's the law of sines. So even though this isn't a right triangle, so trig itself won't work the way we learned it last time, but it will work with the law of sines. So the sine of an angle A over the opposite side will be congruent sine of angle B over the opposite side, sine of angle C over the opposite side. Now, this might seem kind of confusing at first, but we're going to show you how to do it. And you won't use all three of these necessarily. You might just use these two, cross-multiplying and solving for what's missing. Or you might use these two, cross-multiply and solve for what's missing. So keep that in mind. All of them have the same ratio, but you might not use all of those to solve. Using the law of sines. So here it is. Let's think about this. What is the law of sines? So look at what you're given. And I'm going to write this out for us in different colors. I'm going to say this is Z or some angle. And then the side opposite that angle. Notice I'm color coding. And then I'm going to say this angle X and the side opposite X. So using the law of sines, I'm going to say the sine of 77, I wrote on top of that, but I think that's what it said. Sine of 77 over 7 should equal the sine of 51 over this length over here, which I don't know. So I'm just going to call it, well, I don't want to call it X. Let's just call it M for now. So this length from here all the way down to here. We've done problems like this before. All you have to do is cross multiply. So let's do this. Let's cross multiply. I'm going to have the sine of 77. Remember, those go together. They stay together. That's one function. Time m equals 7, this 7 over here, times the sine of 51. If you have a calculator, you can plug it in. But to be honest, I would just do this first. Sine 77. Divide that on both sides. And when you do this, you can solve for m. So m would equal 7 times sine 51 divided by sine 77. Now, if you checked your answers and you realized your answer and the answer that's under this solution are not the same, one, you could have made a simple error in putting them into the calculator, but most likely the error isn't the way you put it in the calculator. Most likely your calculator is in the wrong mode. So for most calculators, you could hit mode to change from degrees to radians to gradients, but you need to make sure you are in degrees. If these are not in degrees, your answers will not match the solutions and therefore is incorrect. So make sure it's in degrees and then plug this in and see that you get the same answer. Try it, example 2. This is a continuation of the last problem. So first of all, you need to know that your last problem, you got this answer over here, this zy, and I believe the answer was 5.6 if we rounded to the nearest tenth. So this length right here is 5.6. But this question asks for xz. This length I do not have. And I don't have this angle, but I can find it. Remember that all triangles add up to 180. So I'm going to write up here just some scratch work on the top. 180, subtracting these two numbers, 51 and 77. That will tell me what I get for the measurement of angle y. So take a second, figure out what that is. The measurement of angle y is 52, which means this right here is 52. I know angle y. I need this angle or this length way over here. So I'm just going to call that W. We don't have a W, so might as well use W. So remember, it doesn't matter if you use the Z and the 7. You could use the 51 and the 5.6. I usually recommend start with what's given. So I'm going to use the sine of Z. And the reason why I do this is because if I messed up anywhere, I don't want to use the same wrong answer. So I'm going to use what they gave me. They gave me 77 and they gave me 7. So I'm going to stick with what I know for sure that's given. So sine of 77 over 7 should equal the sine, keep in mind we're looking using the angle y, sine of 52 over that W. So you can use the x and the 55.6, but I recommend using what's already given. Go from there just in case you made an error. So now we're going to cross multiply. And remember, double check, triple check that your calculator is in degrees. Sine 52 should equal sine 77 times W. When you divide by sine 77 on both sides, you will solve for W. And I'm going to leave that up to you. So sine 77. Plug that in and double check those answers. Example 3. It only gives us one angle, the side across from it, and we have to find two other angles. We can do this. So I'm going to take sine 74 over, it looks like 12.3. That 12.7 is across from S. So I'm going to find sine of S. Notice we're looking for the angle measure. We haven't done this before, but the concept is the same. Set it up, cross multiply, and I'm going to have sine S, keep that together, times 12.3 should equal 12.7, I'll put these both in parentheses actually, times sine 74. I'm going to get s by itself, so I'm going to divide both sides. Instead of dividing it by the sine, I'm going to divide it by 12.3. We haven't done that yet, but the algebra stays the same. You have to get the variable by itself, and in this case, that means dividing by that constant, 12.3. So I'm going to grab my calculator. I'm going to find that sine of s. Now, because I am still worried about you using degrees, radians, gradients, I'm going to double check this with you. Make sure on the scientific calculator or graphing calculator, you go to the mode. So on this calculator, I'm going to hit mode, like literally the word mode. And I'm going to hit the angle unit. And your choices are degrees, radians, or gradients. I'm going to make sure degrees is highlighted or underlined, depend on your calculator. Once you have that, then you plug this in. If you do not get what I get, then we are worried. So if I found out the sine ratio is 0.99, that will get me an answer, but my answer might not be close enough to what they want. So as you're doing this and you have your answer of 12.7 times sine of 74, all divided by 12.3, leave it in the calculator because it's not 0.99, it's 0.99252, blah, 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 blah. Right? The more accurate you are, that means you're going to have more decimals. So I'm going to leave all of this into my calculator. The 0.9925, etc. I'm going to leave it all in there. And what I'm going to do is, even though I'm not writing the whole thing, I know that the sine of s is 0.99 something, but that's not the angle. To find the actual angle, remember from a couple lessons ago, you need to do the sine inverse of the ratio. Well, this is the ratio. And I'm going to say 0.992 la, 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 la. So then I remember I did have more information here. It's just in my calculator. So I'm going to grab my calculator. I'm going to hit second sine, because that's how I get to the sine inverse. 0 point. And if it's actually in the calculator, you can actually put in that answer. For my calculator, you go second answer, which is on the bottom by the negative, which is really helpful. But if not, you can just type it all in, all the decimals and all the business. And when you do that, I get 82.98 something, which means that the measurement of angle S is approximately 83 degrees. Once you have 83, you already have this 74 up here, 74 plus 83, and you subtract that from 180, you can get angle R. Here's another example. Try it, number 3. What is the measurement of N? I'm going to color code these again. And if you're sick of me color coding, you don't have to worry about it. But for some people, if this is what helps, use it. N, and I've got this measurement over here. So I'm looking for the angle, sine of 70. And then notice I'm trying to color code these so it's really obvious, but it's always the side across from it. Sine of 70 over 4 equals the sine of N over the side across from it, which is 2. Grab those calculators, cross multiply. And I usually, honestly, don't even grab my calculator at all until everything is finalized. Sine 70, put those in parentheses, just to make sure that stays together, times 2. I'm going to make that look like more like a 2 than it was. It kind of looks like a z at the beginning. 4 times sine n. Get n by itself, which means you have to divide by 4. And to be honest, if I didn't have sine n all together with it, you might mess this up. So keep those together so you know that the sine and the n have to stay together. I'm going to divide that by 4. So I have sine 70 times 2 over 4 should equal sine n. So grab that calculator now, plug that in, and see what you get for sine of n. I get, again, some ugly decimal, 0.4698, yada, 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 equals sine n. Remember, that decimal, the 0.46, that is not the angle. I have to find the angle. And to do that, I'm going to use the sine inverse. So I'm going to take this up here. way up here, and I know that the sine inverse, or the inverse trig function, 0.4698 dot, 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 that will give me the angle measure of angle n. So the measure of angle n. So I'm going to take my calculator, and this time I'm going to leave all this decimal in. It's still in my calculator. So if I were doing this, and if I was helping you live, I would say for my calculator, and most calculators, you would hit second sine. That gives you that inverse, that -1 up there. And then second, the negative down here at the very bottom, that right above it, it says ANS. That means your previous answer. So if I do that and push equals, that means you don't have to retype all of this business. So I get an answer of measurement of angle N equals roughly 28 degrees. And again, they round to the nearest degrees, but it is approximate. So 28 degrees. In example 4, there's an application problem, and honestly, this problem is just the same as all the rest we've been doing. So you take the angle, sine of that angle, over the opposite side, sine of an angle over the opposite side. So when we solve, we would get this opposite side, okay? But in this case, it says how much longer is the route than the direct route to Chicago? So here's Chicago, here's the direct route, we know that. But what if they went this way? So not only do you have to find this side, but you would also have to find this side. So keep going. You can do this. Do one step at a time. Find one step or one side at a time. Then find the missing angle. And to be honest, to find this missing angle, you just use triangle sum. And then you can go back to use this angle to find the missing side again. And then you determine how much longer it really is. The next part of the application is very similar as well. It just changed a little bit. So if there was a turning point, if they flowed north in the storm, how much further would that be? And honestly, if you've done the previous problems, I really think you can do this one. Overall, here is the concept summary. In words, these words explain what the law of sines is. What does it mean? What is it? But the bottom line is right here. The sine of any angle over the side opposite is equal to the sine of any other angle over the side opposite, sine of any angle over the side opposite. And the cool thing about this, it works for every triangle. It does not have to be a right triangle. In fact, if it's a right triangle, just use Pythagorean theorem or just use the regular sine, cosine, and tangent. You don't need that. But when it's not a right triangle, you're going to want to use the law of sines. I hope that helps.